Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. This is where we answer all of your questions about puppyhood. I'm Bethany.
And I'm Sparky from the Puppy Academy. We're excited you're here. And now, let's get to the show.
This is Ellie, everybody. The cutest little dachshund that ever lived. Look at this little thing. Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. You've got just me today, and this is episode 219, all right? So for anyone joining, come kitty kisses. I haven't met Ellie yet. She's new. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. All right. Little miniature dachshund. So she's going to hang with me while I answer your questions. So please, thank you. Please put your comments down below, including the age and breed of your dog. We're going to start with something fun though. So, Sparky had a week alone at some point, and somebody asked him how long. This is our most recent video, I believe, except for the pinned videos and TikTok and on Instagram if you want to check that out after this. But it's a poor connection. Sorry, hang on just a second, guys. There we go. We're back. So it's a video. How long do you let out a dog that is 13 weeks old? It was a small breed dog, 13-week-old. How long do you let them out of the crate for at a time? He said 30 minutes, and people freaked out. Luckily, there are people with common sense that replied back to those people and said, not 30 minutes a day, you crazy person, 30 minutes at a time throughout the day if you're able. So I would just like to clarify that if it wasn't clear before. I'm not sure any company could remain open if they said that you can only have your dog outside of a crate for 30 minutes a day. I mean, I know common sense is dead on social media, but it was a little rough. Is a little rough. Okay, so after I've clarified that, there were great questions. And so I want to go through some of the questions that were really good, and I'm going to try to ignore the questions that are really dumb. Okay? Okay. All right. Let's do that. And I appreciate this. Mine is 4 months old. She's in crate 9 to 10 hours, throughout the day, and she gets a whole 3 hours out. She's very happy and healthy. My house is, clean. My trainer told me for every hour of play, it equals at least 3 hours of sleep. She's sleeping through the night. I'm so glad this routine is working for you. I can't say your handle or I'd give you some credit, but it is different for every dog. If you had told me German Shepherd, I think he was going off of a Shih Tzu. If you told me German Shepherd, I'd have a different opinion. You know, it does matter, like breed and age and things like that. But your trainer's absolutely right. The way we do it is we do an hour out of crate. And so he mentioned 30 minutes of activity time, 30 minutes of active time. That's doing play or work time. Okay. It should be both. You know, a puppy's not going to focus on food for 30 minutes. And so it's going to be a mixture of play and work time for 30 minutes. This is just on average for most dogs. We tweak it depending on age and breed. And then 30 minutes of supervised separation. Now, what he meant by that, and come on Instagram. There we go. What he meant by the supervised separation, because somebody said, what does supervised separation look like? Supervised separation. Ooh, where are you going? Oh, you see a dog? You gonna go say hi to the dog? A little go-getter. We're upset now.
We were playing a lot yesterday.
And so that's why. That's her new best friend. Aw. Oh. Okay, we're done. Because I can't train her right now to calm down. So she's done. That's so funny. She's like already recognized her best friend through the door. That's so adorable. Okay. Anyway, I love socialization with dogs. It makes me so happy. What was I saying? Oh yeah. What does supervised separation look like? So one of the ways that we do this is with a playpen. I'm not a huge fan of the playpen, but it works so well for so many people. So what we want to do is we want your puppy, to be around you, but not at your feet, not following you from room to room, not getting into things, starting to potty in the corner around 4, 5, 6 months old. That's when we'll start to see a regression of potty training usually. We don't want something like that, so we want the dog to learn how to exist in the same space as you, but not be at your feet or getting into things. So playpen is a great opportunity for supervised separation. That is, and a lot of people are very successful with playpen. Some puppies can do playpen. It creates anxiety. They see you moving around, or even if you're just sitting and they don't have access, they have this barrier. It creates this, not barrier aggression, which is a term you might have heard before, but just proximity, puppy anxiety with a barrier. Okay. And it can turn into some other things. And so a lot of that's temperament and how you handle bringing them in and out of the playpen. Are you rewarding them jumping up? Are you giving them attention when they're whining? Things like that. So we'll keep an eye on that. But the other alternatives for you, if you don't do the playpen thing or your puppy's not great with it, you got a hardcore whiner. A lot of miniature dachshunds don't do great with that type of separation. So I like a crate in the living room and a crate in the bedroom. So crate in the bedroom is downtime. Crate in the living room, they have less room to pace and get worked up and jump up and all this stuff. And I can work in a smaller space. I can give them a Kong in their crate thing, in their active crate in the living room versus their calming crate in a bedroom or mudroom or side room. That's how I like to do supervised separation. Or I like to give them a bigger space than a playpen. It really is, man, I keep having to pause because of Instagram. Sorry, guys. I really like the sectioning off the home. I know not everybody can do this. I understand that, but I like to have the gates more separated out. So if you have an area of your home with tile, like the kitchen, dining area, maybe you've got a fence blocking off one room and a baby gate blocking off, the other entryway. That's kind of what I prefer, or even putting them in a bathroom. Oh, sorry, I jumped topics. Let me go back to my supervised separation. Just putting them in a space that's blocked off where they don't have like a lot of room, to move around. I was just thinking about my little dog, Happy. She didn't do great in crate when we first started crating her. And so I was just going to say, another option is you can put a crate in a bathroom. She did 10 times worse with a playpen. She was little and she would like hurt herself trying to escape a playpen. That's one of the reasons I'm like, playpen, but because of my early experience with her, but she did great, or much better with her option of crate. Oh, Instagram. Of doing a crate and then just closing the bathroom door. That was really good for her. But sorry, that's not supervised separation. That's why I said my brain jumped topics thinking about my little dog, Happy, that she's passed now. Had her 20 years ago. But anyway, so let's back to the supervised separation. So those are the options for that. Some dogs still can't even do that. Some puppies still can't even do that. And so I usually suggest that you just tether a leash to you because you're still working on potty training, right? So you do your 30 minutes of activity time. If you're able, have your dog just on harness or flat collar. I like martingale collars for larger breed puppies, cloth martingales, and just have your dog on a 6-foot leash or 10 foot, and you can hook it around you, and then wherever you go, they go. And that way, if they start to jump up on something that you don't want, they start scratching, they start chewing the edge of where the carpet meets, something else. What do you want me to do about Instagram? It's kind of going to make editing a nightmare, right? Yeah. You want me to keep pausing? Or, yeah, I have to keep...
If you don't mind.
I got to keep pausing.
At least it's only a couple seconds. Let's see.
Okay. All right. I will keep pausing for Instagram being ornery.
But if it gets too long, then we'll just...
Okay. It's just like, this is going to make the YouTube watchers like I hate that.
Just Josh needs more work.
Oh, okay. We'll give our editor more work. Perfect. I'm fine with that. But anyway, you can have them on long lead, and then if they're, chewing where the carpet meets the tile, you're right there to address it. If they start to get up and sniff, all of a sudden you're going outside for potty. And so it's typically, he said 30 minutes of active work. And then he was like, and we also do supervised separation. And, yeah. So anyway, that's typically an hour, but you're only with your puppy 30 minutes of that hour being out of crate. The other 30 minutes is supervised separation, playpen, open area, crate in the living room where you are. So it means the dog is supervised but separate from you. If your puppy can't do that, then do the tether. If you're able, if you're going back to work, working from home or something, then you can't. You just go back to crate, give them extra in the mornings and in the evenings. Okay, so let's see. Indeed, my 2 Doberman puppies are jerks, but I love them, LOL. Yeah, the Dobermans can be tough. So I'm still reading some of the comments based off of that video. I know we had a couple on Instagram. I'm going to go back and look at those, I promise. 30 minutes out of crate? That's crazy. And then someone goes, 30 minutes at a time. Oh, thank you. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you for those people. I would be the person in my bathroom, about to go to bed and just keep replying that to everybody. If I had known about this video, I need a pseudo account, a different account under a different name. Nobody will know it's me. That's what I'm going to do when I go home tonight. So if you see that, you're like, oh, who's, so-and-so. Oh my goodness. Does the same thing go for a 3-month-old German short-haired pointer? Emily Loren. No, it does not. No, I'm just kidding. It really depends. So some, German short-haired pointers, GSPs, can come out and do the supervised separation part. They can do that and they can spend more time out. Some of them can't. It really just depends. And so what I would do is I would probably try to do a 90-minute routine. Again, this is if you're able. So it's 15-minute focused food work, play, and 20 to 30 minutes of being tethered to me or supervised separation. And then I would do another 30-minute window of active work before I put the dog away in crate. And then maybe you get bigger crate times too. That's potentially, an option, but I don't know. GSPs are like this. And so a lot of times they've got to pee every 40 minutes. And so it really does depend on your dog. But if you feel your dog needs more exercise, that's what you're doing. Something else that I want everybody, to keep in mind is that with their work time, their playtime does not have to always be with a toy. In fact, I personally don't think you should be playing with a toy that much with your dog. It's very important for bonding. It's very important for that connection. But I don't think it should be, 15 minutes, 5-6 times a day. There are other ways to play with your dog. I look at long lead like playing with my dog. And so I'll do some focused work, place, sit, come, sit, place. That to me is the focused work. Then I'll take my dog into the backyard on a 10, 15 foot long lead, maybe 20 if you've got, an acre, 20-foot long lead. And right before they're about to hit, the end of the long lead, I'm going to call them back to me, move back, good. And then just break. Toss a piece of food on the ground or hand it to them if you want to give it to them. That's our relationship game. So to me, that's play. Then I ignore them and then they rush out again. Now, if they start getting real food focused, then I'll put a few pieces of kibble down on the ground and then create space while they're eating it up and do recalls that way. I'll start to introduce, fun food games and I'm not talking about puzzle toys. I'm still talking about movement work, not chasing around something and building that kind of drive. That would be better if you played tug if you're going to do that. But anyway, there are other games you can play that aren't just fetch related. So just for, clarification there. Let's see. This has freed up my guilt of going out of the house. That's so important. I am always surprised at how many people feel that way. And you got to remember, in huge parts of the country, dogs still are outside a lot. And just 20 years ago, a huge percentage of dogs were still raised outside and people lived their lives. So it's okay. It's totally okay. Now, if you live in an apartment and you got a new dog and they're really struggling with barking and potty training and all of that, that is a little bit different. You're going to have to tailor your lifestyle more towards that puppy's needs until you get into a good place. But if the puppy's doing great, sayonara, go have dinner, go hang out, things like that. All right, let's see. Okay. I'm so glad I read this one. All right. I didn't agree with this advice from, that I got from the breeder last year. So not from us. It was from the breeder. You mean somebody else is giving the same advice as we are about puppy training? Yeah, we didn't invent this. We have learned from tons of other people and then through our own trial and error to develop a program. We didn't invent this, okay? This is like a process of literally hundreds of years of people and trainers and experts working with puppies. Okay, sorry. Anyway, I didn't mean to do that. I got advice I got from a breeder with my first dog, and he bit me to death. And then reading more on this, I thought that I would try it with my now 12-week-old border collie puppy. Woo, glutton for punishment. I have a border collie too. He's calm, rarely biting me. He goes right to sleep. I admit, he is up about an hour at a time. Again, for full understanding, it's 30 minutes active work. 30 minutes active work, 30 minutes supervised separation. So it is kind of technically an hour, but anyway, where am I? He sleeps from 8 p.m. till 7 a.m. at this point. Border collies don't know usually how to settle themselves. They just keep going and going. So this downtime is really needed for them. My border collie is the same way. He's got to be told, go in there and go rest right now, or he will force himself to stay awake and become overstimulated, even as an elderly border collie. I know it sounds like a lot and too much, but I highly recommend this advice for puppies that are biting especially. It's their way of telling you, I'm tired. Yeah, a lot of times it is, not always, but that is what he mentioned in the video, Sparky mentioned in the video for tiredness. So anyway, I just wanted to address that because the video is getting some love and it's getting some hate. So, all right, moving on from that. But if anybody has any follow-ups to that, feel free to put it on here. Do you want to scroll back on Instagram and read me what you've got?
There's a 15-month-old golden question.
Okay. What's that one? I'll answer it. It's fine.
15-month-old golden boy who's just been castrated.
Oh, sorry.
Seems to have lost his ability to wait and overextended, started biting sleeves and the lead on blocks. Being aggressive.
And he was just neutered? Okay. If he was just neutered, like within 3 months, like if you're within a 2 to 3 month window, sometimes it is the body adjusting and they will develop new bad habits. I have seen it. The most I've seen from it is it can make male dogs, a little bit more insecure and a little bit more edgy. I actually just experienced that with a dog recently. Maybe a little bit more defiant, insecure. You got to understand their hormones are re-regulating and he's lost the vast majority of his testosterone. So I have heard of this happening to people. They don't do hormone replacement therapy for dogs. In 50 years, I bet they do. Story for another time. But yeah, it can definitely affect them. But yet we're constantly told, spay, neuter. And I agree. There are very important reasons to neuter dogs. So I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying there are pros and cons to both sides. Also, this has happened to me before, to my clients, where I get feedback from, is it's not the spay and the neuter themselves, but sometimes a rough time at the vet. Like they become overwhelmed, they become very stressed out, and then they come home stressed. Then they get babied for a little while. They're in a cone. that gets rid of their peripheral vision. And they're not like horses. They're not prey animals where you get rid of their peripheral vision and they calm down. It's like, no, you put a cone on them and they can still see out of a tunnel, but they don't have that. And then they're hitting themselves. They sometimes get very worked up, very upset. Then they're babied by the family. I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying I see it happen sometimes. And then we get all these behavioral issues. So it could be from a number of things that's not necessarily getting rid of those hormones. So I just want you to keep that in mind. But sorry, I was trying to get back to TikTok and I'm having problems. With that being said, your dog is on the older side. So it's almost an adult. So it's very much an adolescent puppy. I would look into potentially doing a slip lead training or martingale training, and you could go a lot of different routes with that. But I would use some other type of tool if you're using a harness, and I would work with a trainer. You probably just need a couple of sessions to kind of get a handle on this, unless you want more stuff. You want recall, you want placentration, things like that. But the main thing is you need 2 scenarios out of your dog. With the balloons, woohoo! 2 scenarios out of your dog, like the way they look at you is what I'm saying. One is they look at you as, oh, what can I do to get positive feedback? So that usually comes from food work. So if you haven't shaped food work since he was little, it's not taking a bunch of steps back if you reintroduce food, I swear. In fact, food can give you a lot of opportunities to get some clarity. So if I tell a 15-month-old on leash, definitely on leash, place, good, sit, good, I reach into my bait pouch and he leans forward, I'm going to pop my leg out. I'm not going to lift it off the floor. I'm just going to boop, like, no, pause, good, pause, reach in. He leans forward. No. So and then he eventually gets the piece of food. But what I'm saying is it can also give you room to create clarity with boundaries that you haven't gone through before. Same with like thresholds. It's like if you open the door, is you rushing out of the threshold? Use food to shape the threshold, but then you add blocking. No, back off. And then you'll get your sit because you shaped sit with food. So hopefully you kind of see where I'm going. So that's one piece of the puzzle. If you go right to my second piece of the puzzle, it's going to wear off and he might fight you more on it. And so you need the first piece of the puzzle because it's relationship. It's very important. First piece of the puzzle. Second piece of the puzzle is we need to address it. And so the moment he starts getting that way, he needs to walk around only when he's supervised. With a leash or at least a tab, not a loop. So it can't be a traffic lead. It's got to be like a tab, like they use on herding dogs or something. And, or dragging a full leash, just cut the loop off only when supervised in the house. And then obviously when walking and doing things where you immediately do pressure out, up, and away from you. And so you're holding pressure up, out, and away from you. Don't lift him fully off the ground, like his paws fully off the ground, but it is enough to make him care more about the pressure because he can't move forward. So when he can't move forward, he's going to settle back. And you got to pay attention. These are handling skills you're developing. So when you notice that, you're going to relax the pressure. Then you go try to do what you were doing. He's going to do the same thing again. And it's rinse and repeat until you can say no if you want, but don't make a big deal about it. You're neutral. You're like neutral authoritative. Just calm de-escalation. Like, I got all day, buddy. All right, let's go. Oh, you want to do it again? Okay. Right. And just do that till he settles and then go back to your walk, back to your work. Maybe he needs a crate break if you're in the house or something like that. But hopefully that kind of gives you something to think about when it comes to that. But you're not taking a step back if you go back to leash on all the time and food work. You probably need to add in more blocking and more firmer boundaries now that he's gotten older. But I swear you're not taking a step back. Your dog is telling you that they need better communication. They're getting frustrated. They need more consequences, positive and negative. Consequences aren't just negative. Like, I mean, the positive and negative consequences of whatever is happening. They need more feedback to properly function in the new way that they feel. And so whatever you got to do to give that, you want to give that. Don't look at it as taking a step back. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay. Let me see if I can finally find TikTok. I just don't operate TikTok as well. Here we go. Puppy Academy. There we go. Live. Let's see. Let's see if I can see past questions. Oh, I can. Yeah, what should supervised separation before going into the crate look like? I'm not sure when this question came in, but Geraldine, if you just asked this, then I addressed it at the first part of the video. Now, in 24 hours, the first 15 minutes of this or something, I think, is uploaded, and then we have the full version on YouTube. And so that's where I'm going to send you to really hear that breakdown, because I do go through it in detail, and even the options for dogs that don't like supervised separation. Oops, I clicked on you. There we go. Sorry. I'm not on TikTok. Okay. But if there's toys, food, or nothing, do they fight? Oh, here we go. Let me go back. I have 2 puppies, 4 and 5 months old. They fight all the time. They are about to settle and walk next to each other. But if there's toys, food, they fight. Live with laughter. All right. Well, there's not going to be a lot of laughter in your house for a while. Okay. So sorry, I couldn't. You just set me up for that. You have littermate syndrome, and getting over littermate syndrome, you can't really get over it. You just manage it. So I don't want to go kind of through deeply what that is. I'll give you the brief version. You can look it up. But it's just where, 2 dogs are more connected to each other than anything around them, and they always will be. And then as they get older, that can cause a lot of friction, because they're like brothers and sisters. But they're predators, right? And so they will absolutely start to either go off into the sunset together and forget about their family and never listen to anybody else, or they will absolutely start to fight. Maybe not as early as yours are, but that's what we always see as they start to get into adolescence. Not always. I should never say always. That's what I often see. Now, I often work with people who are struggling with their dogs. But when you got 2 dogs the same age that started in the same litter, females, especially if you've got 2 females and 2 males, they're very likely to have issues. It takes a lot of dedication. You have to start separating them all the time. They're trained separately. They're walked separately. They are only briefly together. When you can have one dog be in crate and the other dog be worked with in front of that dog, and that dog's not freaking out. Otherwise, they're in a completely different room. That's how you kind of start. And then when they're 8, 9, 10 months old and their obedience is pretty solid, you can back tie one of them while working with the other, and then switch. Play takes a little bit longer, like to play in front of one of them and the other one wait. That's more advanced, but that's what you're going for. They have to learn how to wait their turn and not feed off of each other. It is very hard to do, even with dogs that are not littermates. And even if they're not like littermates, if you just got 2 dogs, sorry, I meant to clarify this. Even if you just got 2 dogs that are around the same age, around the same time, the same thing can happen. They will sometimes, just go like with their own species, and nothing you say, can stop them, right? Because you've got 2 similar age puppies that are just going wild and feeding off of each other. And the same thing can happen even if they're not exactly littermates. So the separation thing is really important. But let me just ask you this. Are you prepared because you got some options here. Are you prepared to not have resources to keep them safe, not have resources when they're together, unsupervised, unless it's a training session, for the next 10 to 15 years? If that sounds horrible to you, then you need to consider rehoming one of them, so everybody is happier, including the dogs. Like, I'm including the dogs in that. They less stressful, happier life. And then wait till that dog is 1.5 to 3 before you get another puppy or another dog in general. Okay. That would be my advice. However, if you've got some mucho dinero or some experience, you can pay for a lot of experiences with different types of trainers, because you're going to have a trainer that specializes in the training, a trainer that specializes in the aggression, a trainer that specializes in the socialization. Maybe you find one that can do everything. I'll be honest, that's a little unusual. I mean, they say they can do everything. People think I can do everything, and I probably accidentally make it sound that way sometimes, but I am actually not a specialist in socialization. I'm very adept at it. Is that the right word? I can do it. I do it all the time. But if you were to come to me and say, I only want to completely rehab my dog that's killed other dogs, I need a pack of dogs to do that, not Dakota and Dusty at home. I need like a pack of 10 dogs. And I know 3 trainers off the top of my head. 1 or 2 are facilities, and then 1, they work off their ranch, that literally have a pack of dogs to rehab dogs. So that's what I'm saying. There are different expertise in different things. And so, if you have the, money, time to do that, give it a go. But there's no shame in being like, everybody's miserable. Let's rehome one of these puppies and give them a real chance, So just want to give you those options. Let's see. All right. Do I have anything else? It's a little late getting on here today. I think we're good over here. Yeah. Anything over there? You want to backtrack a bit?
Is it an 11-month-old question, or we have that 11-week-old question?
I'll do, this is going to be fast, so we can do both.
11-month-old pup starting to attention nip occasionally while I work. Advice?
Yeah, 11-month-old attention nipping while you work. Man, for me, this is, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm really not. It's not like aggression, but this is a gateway to so many bad behaviors, because there is a power imbalance. And I'm not trying to say you're the alpha and you're in control and your dog should never disrespect you like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if my 10-year-old little girl won't let me have a phone call with someone, human girl, won't let me have a phone call with someone, can't wait till I'm done, and is constantly interrupting me, it's not an emergency, she's just being ornery, I'm going to be like, I need to reevaluate some things. Like, I need to relook at how I'm handling some things, because this is a problem behavior. It's the same thing in your case. I'm not trying to say like, alpha, be in charge, no bad dog. It would be the same thing if I had, my daughter doing that to me at 10 years old. It's not a 10-week-old little puppy. It's an 11-month-old adolescent dog that absolutely has the ability to go lay in their dog bed or go and crate and hang out for 30 minutes while you finish what you're doing, and then you can walk them, work with them. So for me, it's red flag's the wrong word, but it's a bit of a red flag for future issues of like, no, I don't want to walk this way. I want to walk this way. No, I want to go say hi to that dog. I'm not going the other direction. You know what I mean? So it can really lead into a lot of that jumping up on people, stuff like that. So with that being said, I think that it is an easy thing to fix, but it doesn't go away right away. You've got to start looking at how much affection and when you're giving that affection to your dog. That's one thing. There's a lot of different ways to tackle this, but I want to make sure the relationship's in check. So when you're not in the middle of doing something, when you're not working, like it's the end of the night, every time she comes up to you and she looks at you with those puppy eyes, are you petting her? Or sometimes are you like, no, not right now. Go on. And she's like, okay, whatever, and goes and lays down. Right? And so that's what I want you to look at. You might accidentally be rewarding that. And then so when you don't do it, the dog is doing what would come naturally to any human, animal, dog, which is to take it to another level to get what they want, into another level. So we have to make sure that your relationship is in check at other parts of the day. So I would start teaching place command. Just go on YouTube and look up, balance training, place command, with your dog. Because the reason I say balance training is because You can do harness if you want, but it's really more about the movement, the blocking, the moving into your dog's space. The dog learns to back away, and then they get a reward. And then they start to respect that body language of like, no, not right now. Just like a little, no, go on. Like, okay, whatever. And they go settle down somewhere. They don't take it personal because you haven't accidentally rewarded that pushiness in other ways. So that's one way that you could do it. I would also have her on leash, supervised in the home, of course. Just give her a little tug, like just grab the leash. No, tug, knock it off and move her away. Get up, stand up, move into her. No, she's going to continue to protest. You freeze, don't add any energy into it, but look at her space. So she takes a step. This isn't for little puppies, guys, by the way. This is an 11-month-old. She takes a step into you. You take a step into her. She backs off, you back off, you wait. And you're just really looking at the brain, but you're not, in my opinion, if you've never done that kind of training before, you're not going to know what you're looking at if you don't teach place first, because it's so obvious in place. The dogs learn so much faster when they've had some positive reinforcement with place commands. So definitely look into that. And yeah, so that would be where I would start. And then if you've got an important call or something like that, just, crate your dog if you're crating your dog. Okay, so a really quick one. 11-week-old Havanese puppy from Sam. Should I just let him do his business in the playpen? So this really depends on your lifestyle. If you travel a lot and you really want the puppy pad to be really consistent, really strong place where your dog, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but where your dog goes and potties, then you do kind of want to keep that up a little bit. I'm always nervous with a male dog, though. I do know that there are some trainers that will train a dog to keep all 4 paws on the ground when they pee if they start lifting their leg. But I don't know. I'm not really super into that. I don't know a ton about it. But what do male dogs typically start doing? Lifting their leg. They will miss the pad more than females. They will start to mark the edge of the playpen, like in the pad, and you're getting it partly on the wall, partly on the playpen, partly on the pad. I'm not a huge fan. I like dogs to go outside, but my little dog Happy, she was trained on puppy pads and then grass, and I was always able to travel with a puppy pad, put it down in the bathroom, at the airport, and she would go and pee. So it was very useful for that. I just think males are a little bit more challenging. You kind of got to work with their genetics and what they're showing you. So that's really up to you, to kind of look at that, look at your lifestyle. I personally want dogs, if I am going to do puppy pad training, to also be comfortable going outside on grass and pee and pooping. So that's what we always say, is that do both. If you want to be able to travel with the puppy pad, do both. But you do have to consistently kind of keep it up if you think that their ability to go on the pad is waning. But it's tricky with boys. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go and have a great day. Oh, whoever just commented, I'm so sorry we missed you. And come back next week.
He's ready to go on grass and doing really well, but was wondering if when I left him in there just to let him go in the pad.
Well, only if it's like you're training him to go on a puppy pad. And if you don't like the puppy pad, get like one of those grassy things or something like that they can target. But keep an eye on that leg lifting. You might not want to deal with that and want to do more crating. Okay, guys, bye. Have a great week.
Thanks for tuning into Ask a Puppy Trainer Show.
We hope you found some advice that you can use to help make puppyhood a little easier.
Don't forget to join us live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time on Instagram or TikTok at The Puppy Academy.
This is where you can get a chance to ask your burning questions in real time. And if you want even more puppy guidance, visit our website at thepuppyacademy.com for info on joining our online puppy school.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving us a review.
These reviews let more people find us and supports us on our mission to help as many puppy parents as possible around the globe.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.